In one unforgettable moment, a flight attendant's hasty decision shatters all assumptions as he ejects a black customer, only to reveal that this very individual is none other than Snoop Dogg, the hidden owner whose presence redefines respect and destiny. This is more than an in-flight incident. It's a powerful narrative that challenges our perceptions and reminds us that every person carries a story worth understanding. If this bold twist of fate resonates with you, leave a comment below and subscribe to the channel for more stories that inspire, provoke, and transform. Beyond the boundaries of that airplane cabin, the repercussions of this extraordinary event resonated far and wide. The story of the flight attendant's inadvertent error, Snoop Dogg's unyielding calm, and the dramatic unveiling of the owner struck a chord with many. It was a story that echoed the struggles and triumphs we face every day. A story of how one moment, one decision, can forever alter the course of our lives. In our fast-paced world, it is all too easy to fall into the trap of quick judgments. We often label people based on fleeting impressions or shallow appearances. The incident serves as a powerful allegory. Behind every person lies a rich tapestry of experiences, dreams, and struggles that no one else can see at first glance. Whether you identify with the dedicated flight attendant, who was trying desperately to maintain order under pressure, or with Snoop Dogg, the black customer who defied expectations and redefined what it means to be the owner, this narrative speaks to the core of our shared human experience. Consider for a moment the immense pressures faced by those in positions of responsibility. A flight attendant is not merely a service provider. He is a guardian of the passenger's safety and comfort, entrusted with decisions that carry profound consequences. When he acted on instinct rather than understanding, it was not just a personal failing but a stark reminder of how easily stress and fatigue can cloud judgment. His error became a symbol of the systemic challenges that we all face, where the pressures of everyday life can lead to momentary lapses that have lasting repercussions. At the same time, the character of Snoop Dogg as the black customer turned owner stands as an emblem of resilience and transformation. His journey mirrors that of countless individuals who have fought to rise above stereotypes and societal limitations. In a world that often prioritizes appearance over substance, his quiet defiance and steadfast dignity offer a beacon of hope. His story is a reminder that every individual, regardless of the roles imposed upon them by society, has the power to redefine their narrative and reclaim their dignity. As you reflect on these themes, I invite you to ask yourself, what does it mean to truly see someone beyond their surface? How can we learn to embrace the complexities of human nature instead of succumbing to the ease of assumptions? These are not just abstract questions, but vital reflections that can lead us to a deeper understanding of our own lives and the world around us. In the days and weeks that followed the tumultuous flight, the incident became a topic of passionate discussion and introspection. The flight attendant, burdened by regret and the lessons learned from his mistake, sought a path to redemption. Determined to make amends, he began a journey of self-reflection, one that would eventually lead him to public apologies, personal growth, and an unwavering commitment to change. He reached out to those he had wronged, especially Snoop Dogg, the black customer who had shown extraordinary grace in the face of injustice. Through heartfelt letters, open conversations, and a series of public appearances, the flight attendant began to rebuild the trust that had been shattered by that fateful moment. His story, once defined by a singular error, slowly transformed into one of accountability and transformation. It was a testament to the idea that while mistakes are inevitable, the true measure of a person lies in their willingness to learn, grow, and seek forgiveness. Snoop Dogg, in his quiet wisdom, became an unexpected teacher in this narrative. His response to the incident was not one of retaliation but of understanding. By embodying the values of resilience and compassion, he turned a moment of conflict into an opportunity for dialogue and healing. His actions spoke louder than any harsh words could have, reminding everyone that every mistake holds the potential for redemption if we are willing to embrace it. For many on board and for countless viewers and listeners beyond the flight, the incident became a metaphor for life itself. It is all too common to make snap judgments or to act out of impulse. Yet, it is through the process of acknowledging our missteps and working to correct them that we truly find our path to self-improvement. The narrative of that flight serves as an enduring reminder that we are all capable of change and that every person has a hidden depth, a story worth telling, and a legacy waiting to be reclaimed. Now, I ask you once more, in your own life, have you ever experienced a turning point? A moment when you recognized your own error and resolved to do better? How did that experience reshape your understanding of yourself and others? Reflect on these questions as you consider the ripple effects of a single moment, for it is in our imperfections that our true humanity is revealed. The remarkable events that unfolded on that flight have left an indelible mark on everyone involved. They serve as a timeless parable, a reminder that our interactions, no matter how fleeting, can hold the power to transform lives. The story of the flight attendant, Snoop Dogg as the black customer, and the eventual revelation of the owner is a narrative that transcends the bounds of air travel. It touches on the fundamental issues of identity, respect, and the profound need for empathy in a rapidly changing world. In our everyday lives, we often find ourselves caught up in the pace of modern society, where moments of genuine human connection can be easily overlooked. The incident is a clarion call to slow down and truly listen, to see beyond the labels we assign each other, and to recognize the shared struggles and victories that define us all. It is a reminder that behind every interaction lies a story, and behind every story lies an opportunity to connect with one another on a deeper level. For those of you who have ever felt misunderstood or misjudged, let this narrative be a beacon of hope. It is proof that even in our darkest moments, there is a chance for redemption, for transformation, and for the reclaiming of one's true identity. And for those who have been quick to judge, it offers a gentle lesson in humility and the importance of second chances. Consider this. In a world where appearances often mask the truth, how can we cultivate a culture of empathy and understanding? What steps can we take to ensure that our actions do not inadvertently cause harm, but instead build bridges between hearts and minds? These questions are at the heart of this story, a story that is as much about personal redemption as it is about collective healing. As our journey through this extraordinary tale draws to a close, I invite you to pause and reflect on the powerful lessons it has offered. The story of the flight attendant's critical mistake, the incredible grace of Snoop Dogg as the black customer, and the revelatory twist that exposed the owner is not merely a dramatic account of an in-flight incident. It is a mirror reflecting the complexities of our own lives. Every one of us, at some point, has been the subject of a misunderstanding or the perpetrator of a snap judgment. It is in these moments, fraught with regret and the potential for growth, that we truly have the opportunity to redefine who we are. The narrative presented here is a call to embrace that opportunity, to see every error not as a mark of failure, but as a stepping stone on the path to becoming a more compassionate, understanding, and empathetic human being. I ask you, dear listener, when was the last time you allowed yourself to be vulnerable? When did you truly listen to someone else's story without prejudice or preconception? And more importantly, how can you, in your daily life, become a catalyst for change, a living testament to the power of forgiveness and redemption? As you carry these reflections with you, remember that every interaction is a chance to rewrite your story. The roles we play, whether as a flight attendant striving to serve, a black customer whose identity is so much more than meets the eye, or an owner whose legacy is built on resilience, are but parts of a greater narrative. A narrative that is defined not by our mistakes, but by our willingness to learn from them, to reach out with empathy, and to build a future where every individual is seen for who they truly are. I invite you now to share your thoughts, experiences, and reflections in the comments below. Let us start a dialogue about the importance of looking beyond the surface, of embracing our shared humanity, and of creating spaces where understanding triumphs over prejudice. How have you turned a moment of judgment into a journey of growth? What steps will you take the next time you're faced with a snap judgment, either as the one passing judgment or as the one being judged? As our story comes to an end, take with you this final thought. Our lives are defined by the moments we choose to transform mistakes into opportunities. The flight attendant's error, the unforgettable presence of Snoop Dogg as the black customer, and the shocking revelation of the owner are all threads in the rich tapestry of human experience. They remind us that every person has a story, every moment has a meaning, and every mistake carries within it the seed of redemption. May this tale inspire you to approach each day with renewed empathy, to look beyond first impressions, and to nurture the courage needed to change, not just for yourself, but for those around you. Let us all become authors of our own narratives, writing stories of compassion, understanding, and ultimately, of hope. Before you go, consider this. What is the legacy you wish to leave behind? How will you ensure that your story, with all its twists and turns, is remembered not for the mistakes you made, but for the lessons you learned and the lives you touched? I encourage you to think deeply about this and to share your insights with our community. Your voice matters. And together, we can create a world where every person is valued for the unique and beautiful story they bring to life. Thank you for joining me on this emotional and transformative journey. I hope that the lessons from this story resonate with you long after you have left this page or turned off your device. Until we meet again, remember that our shared humanity is our greatest strength. Embrace it, celebrate it, and let it guide you on your own path to redemption and growth. Now, I leave you with one final question. What will you do the next time you're faced with a moment of judgment? Will you rise above it, just as our heroes did, and forge a future defined by compassion and understanding? I look forward to hearing your answers and to embarking on many more journeys of discovery together. This isn't just a tale of an ordinary flight. It is the story of a flight attendant who, caught in a moment of stress, made a decision that would forever change the lives of everyone on board. At the heart of this drama is a black customer, none other than Snoop Dogg, a man known for his laid-back swagger and timeless wisdom. And as fate would have it, this isn't a random encounter. The black customer we know turns out to be the owner, a twist that forces us all to question how we judge others by their appearances. Before we dive deep into this narrative, ask yourself, have you ever been misunderstood, misjudged, or underestimated? How did it feel to have someone's snap judgment dictate your fate? As we unravel this story, keep those questions close. They are the keys that unlock our shared human experience, an experience that is at once filled with pain, loss, triumph, and the sweet taste of redemption. The aircraft hummed with the calm routine of air travel. Inside, the cabin was alive with soft chatter, clinking cups, and the gentle rustle of newspapers. Our story begins on what seemed to be a typical flight: clear skies, a determined crew, and passengers all absorbed in their own worlds. Among them was a dedicated flight attendant, known for his professionalism and friendly smile, who moved efficiently down the aisle, ensuring that every detail was perfect. In the midst of this carefully orchestrated routine sat a distinguished black customer whose presence exuded a quiet confidence. Little did anyone know that this black customer was not an ordinary traveler, but a man whose legacy in music and culture had touched millions. As the flight attendant attended to his duties, there was an undercurrent of tension that no one could predict. Perhaps it was the fatigue of a long day, or the pressure of high-altitude responsibility. But in one pivotal moment, everything changed. A miscommunication, swift, impulsive, and irrevocable, triggered an incident that sent shockwaves through the cabin. The flight attendant, acting on a misinterpreted signal and a momentary lapse in judgment, decided to eject the black customer from his seat. The decision, made in haste, was intended to maintain order, but instead set off a chain of events that would expose deeper truths about identity and respect. In that split second, the quiet hum of the cabin gave way to murmurs of disbelief and a palpable shift in the atmosphere. Now, I ask you, how would you react if you saw someone, especially a revered figure, being treated unfairly right in front of your eyes? Would you dare to speak up, or would the silence of conformity drown your inner voice? Let these questions simmer in your mind as we proceed, for the answer may lie in the complexities of our own human nature. The flight attendant, still reeling from his impulsive act, began to realize that something was terribly amiss. Across the aisle, the black customer, Snoop Dogg, sat in stunned silence, his eyes reflecting a mixture of hurt and disbelief. In that charged moment, time seemed to slow. Every whisper, every sideways glance from fellow passengers was heavy with unspoken judgment. Yet, amidst the chaos, Snoop Dogg's calm demeanor held a silent promise that this incident would not break him, but would instead ignite a conversation about fairness and the power of second chances. The decision to remove the black customer from his seat was more than an act of misunderstanding. It was a stark reminder of how easily we allow assumptions to override empathy. The flight attendant, whose duty it was to serve and protect the dignity of every traveler, had made an error that cut deeper than the physical act of ejection. In that moment, the cabin transformed from a place of routine travel into a microcosm of life's harsh lessons, a reminder that behind every decision lies the potential for irreversible impact. The passengers, many of whom had their own stories of being judged too quickly, began to murmur among themselves. Have you ever felt that sting of being misjudged? What if you were in his shoes? The incident was a mirror held up to society, reflecting our own propensity for snap judgments and the often painful lessons that come when we finally see the truth behind a person's exterior. As the tension escalated, something unexpected happened. The black customer, Snoop Dogg, rose from his seat, not with anger but with a quiet dignity that commanded respect. His gaze met that of the flight attendant, and in that silent exchange, a revelation began to take shape. It turned out that the black customer was not simply a traveler who had been unfairly treated. He was, in fact, the owner. This shocking twist sent ripples of awe and disbelief throughout the cabin. For those on board, the realization that Snoop Dogg was not only a black customer, but also the owner was a moment of profound awakening. Suddenly, the act of ejection was reinterpreted not as an isolated mistake but as an event laden with meaning, one that spoke to the broader issues of perception, respect, and the true value of an individual. The flight attendant, now faced with the weight of his error, was forced to confront the consequences of acting on assumptions rather than compassion. Snoop Dogg's transformation from a quiet, unassuming traveler into the central figure of an unfolding drama was more than a twist of fate. It was a lesson in humility and the importance of looking beyond surface appearances. His calm, measured reaction, and his willingness to accept the situation with grace offered a stark contrast to the initial chaos. It was as if he were saying, "Yes, I am more than what you see. I carry a legacy that commands respect, regardless of the momentary slip-ups of those around me." At this juncture, I urge you to reflect. When was the last time you were truly seen for who you are, rather than for what others assumed you to be? Have you ever had to fight against a tide of misunderstanding, only to emerge stronger on the other side? The answers to these questions often lie hidden in our most vulnerable moments, and this story is no exception. In the wake of the revelation, the atmosphere within the airplane cabin underwent a dramatic transformation. What began as a scene of discord slowly evolved into one of introspection and, eventually, reconciliation. The flight attendant, who had once been a figure of authority and order, now found himself grappling with the crushing weight of regret. Every step he had taken, every decision he had made, was now illuminated by the painful light of hindsight. His heart, burdened by remorse, sought a path to redemption, a way to mend the rift that had been created by a single moment of misjudgment. For Snoop Dogg, the journey was one of quiet strength and dignified acceptance. As the black customer who had been ejected from his seat, he could have chosen to respond with anger or bitterness. Instead, he embodied resilience. His silent grace in the face of a humiliating mistake became an inspiring reminder that true power lies in forgiveness and the willingness to let go of pride. In that moment, his identity as the owner was not defined by the incident itself, but by the legacy of compassion and understanding that he carried with him. The passengers, too, were forced to reflect on their own roles in this unfolding drama. Many found themselves revisiting memories of past injustices, of times when they had been dismissed or misunderstood. The incident became a catalyst for empathy, a collective realization that we all carry burdens and secrets that no one else can fully comprehend. The narrative was no longer just about a single flight attendant's mistake or one man's remarkable identity. It had grown into a universal story of human fallibility and the redemptive power of compassion. I want you to consider, have you ever been in a situation where a mistake led you to question your own judgment? How did you manage to find a path forward after such a setback? In sharing these questions, we invite you to think about the moments in your own life where you have had to find forgiveness, not just for others, but for yourself.